So this is the Casio CT-S1000V keyboard. It's a Casiotone model that Casio announced only 1 week ago to a lot of fanfare in the States. And one thing I noticed straight away is how small it is and light. It's not as wide and as deep as on the CTX keyboard, so it'll be interesting once we get inside to see actually how big the keyboard is. It's still a 5-octave keyboard with full-size keys, but certainly the size of it is not as big as I imagined it was going to be, and so that's a good thing for a portable keyboard. So let's try and get rid of some of this packaging. Always a bit wary with these scissors trying to get in. Yeah, this is a new keyboard, as I mentioned. It uses the same AIX technology that Casio put into the CTX range of keyboards. So it's going to be interesting to compare this one with the CT-X1000 that I've got as well. But in addition to that, on this particular model, let's just try and get through some of this packaging. Just being really careful not to do any damage. But yeah, on this particular model, on the 1000, they've included some vocal synthesis, which is something new to the range. If you go back several decades to some of the original Casiotone keyboards, I think there was a sampling keyboard, the SK1. So obviously you could kind of record your voice into that, but this is a different idea. We've got vocal synthesis built into the keyboard. There is sampling as well, I think 10 seconds of sampling time into the keyboard, so you can then record something and play it back over the range of the keyboard. And you can also record into a drum tone as well and create your own drum tones if you wanted. Let's try and get through some of this packaging without doing too much damage. There we go. Just fold that back a bit. So, as I said, you've got the AIX tones. I think it's 900 on this keyboard. So again, it's going to be interesting to compare and contrast with the CTX that I've got already. Just fold that back a bit. Neatly packaged, a bit of polystyrene across the top. Let's see if we can get rid of that bit. I think it's taped in. So I'll just lift it out a bit. And yep, there we go. It's quite light, so I'm managing just to pick it up. Excuse the top of my head. Let's see if we can get rid of some of this top packaging. There's a bit of sticky tape holding it in place over here. Just take that little bit off. And there's another little bit on this side. Just move that out of the way. And then we've got these two chunky end pieces of polystyrene. Sometimes they tuck the extras into that. I don't think they have here, but I'll need to check. Looks like all the accessories are in the bottom of the box. And we've got the Bluetooth MIDI and audio adapter, which comes with it for free, which is a nice touch. And we'll have to see what that will do for us. Let's get rid of some of this top packaging here. There we go. Yeah, it's definitely very light and portable, easy to move around. There's a bit of tape along the top of the keys, stopping the keys from moving around when it's being... Got speakers either side, bass speaker there. And the knobs are... Controls are quite chunky. I'll show you those once we get it into position as well. And I think there's like a little handle underneath. Let's just move the keyboard out of the way and I'll get some of these accessories from inside the box out of the way as well. So yeah, that's the Bluetooth connector adapter that goes into the back of the keyboard into the USB socket on the back. So we'll come to that later in another video. A bit more packaging, let's just get rid of that. And then for UK customers, we've got 3-pin plug, which is good to see. And it's nice to have actually 3-pin rather than the sort of 2-pin and have to have an adapter. And it looks like this adapter is very similar, if not identical, to the CT-X adapter, and in fact which is similar to the one I use on the PX1000 piano as well. So it's nice to have uniformity. It looks slightly different design on the top, cutaway, but we'll have to see and just check it's compatible. Let's just move that out of the way. So in the bottom of the box we've got music stand by the looks of things. Let's see if we can move that piece out of the way. Going to need that for a while, hopefully. Doesn't look like there's a full manual though. Let's just move those bits of cardboard up, holding the music stand in. You can get the manual online. I've discovered before I bought the keyboard, I was checking out some of the features online. You can get the full manual, which is about 300 pages long. So here we've got a music stand. It doesn't look like the CT-X one. It's sort of half plastic, so hopefully it'll hold the books. And then you've got the quick operation guide inside there. So I guess if you want to download the whole manual and print it out, you can do that, or just keep it on your phone or on a tablet. Saves paper, which is always a good thing this day and age. And hopefully this music stand is going to hold all my books, even with half plastic. It's very similar to the one on the PX piano as well. Whereas the one on the CT-X, kind of slots into a groove on the top. This one seems to have the two little arms that go into holes on the back. Okay, so one empty box. Let's get this out of the way. And let's bring the keyboard in. There we go. Okay, sits rather nicely on the top of the keyboard stand. This is a 2-tier stand, and on the CTX, if you look underneath your CTX, you've got. Let's just tip this one up a bit. On the CTX, it's got the quite large space or grooves. Here, you haven't got that. So when I put my CTX on this part of the stand, it neatly hooks over the two little arms that come up at the sides, so it won't be knocked off. But this still looks pretty good and solid. Let's see if we can get rid of this tape that's holding it in. Just peel it back. There we go, almost there, a bit more. So looking at the keyboard, as I said, it's a 5-octave standard keyboard size, although to me it looks a little bit short from where the black keys to the front edge of the white keys. Maybe it's just an optical illusion, but I'll need to check. It's certainly a lot quieter. It's not the same action as on the CTX. I haven't put a microphone above the keyboard, but honestly it's not really making much noise at all. There seem to be gaps between the keys compared with the CTX, so again, just a contrast. Big display in the centre. And the knobs, as I said, are quite chunky. The usual power button, like on the CTX. And it's nice having the lines on these controls, so you can actually see where they're pointing. I always find that a bit hit and miss on the CTX. You can't always tell where you actually set your volume. But here you can see nice controls, chunky, easy to get hold of, plenty of space between them as well to get your fingers round. The one on the left here, I think, is another assignable controller. This is more like the CTX volume control. It hasn't got it's just got an indentation on the top compared to that volume control there. But maybe they were short of space. It would have been nice to have had a chunky one on the side there. But yeah, feels pretty good. Start and stop, record buttons, everything's cut down in terms of controls compared with the CTX. Whereas on the CTX, it's quite intimidating, lots of buttons and knobs, and here they've really streamlined the whole front panel to almost, say a dozen controls. Let's have a look at the back. They haven't put any lettering on the printed any lettering. It's all just sort of printed onto the plastic. So you've got the USB and sockets on the back on this side of the keyboard, and the power supply is on this side. I think for your phone and for the adapter. And the power in there as well, which is at the different end to the CTX. And then we've got the audio connections on this side. So let's just turn it around. It'll be a bit easier to see. There we go. Yeah, so it's difficult to read some of these. So I think we've got headphone socket here is a small mini jack, 3.5 millimeter, and then that which is the same size as the audio input, which is the same on the CTX. But here we've got two 1/4 inch audio jack outputs left and right, and then the two inputs for the foot switches, which are 1/4 inch as well, which is nice. The one is for a foot switch and the other is for an expression pedal. That's the same as on the CTX. The battery compartment's down here and a bit of a handle there to hold the keyboard if you're moving it around, putting it in a case. So I might need to get a soft case for this one as well. I like the fact that it's AA batteries and not the size D batteries. And there it is on the keyboard stand. Looking pretty neat and ready to be played and plugged in. So, as I said, it's AIX technology on this model with the vocal synthesis. So you can play back vocal effects and lyrics that you create on the app, which you can get from the usual places onto your phone or tablet. So it's going to be good fun trying to work all of that over the next few weeks. So there we are. That's the Casio CT-S1000. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for some more videos as I get into this keyboard.